James, it's about to be the first of at least 2, maybe 3 consecutive St. Patrick's weekends. Is your liver ready?
I'm good. I am praying for you.
I'll be fine, dude. It's my entire existence right now.
Godspeed.
That and Revolution on Sunday. So let's talk about Dynamite before that happens.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined again this week by James DeSanti, back here once again to review another episode of AEW Dynamite. This is the go-home Dynamite before AEW Revolution in Los Angeles this upcoming Sunday. And as is tradition with Dynamites, as James and I were discussing right before we came on, the penultimate episode before the pay-per-view is usually the best. That being said, we did have some great wrestling tonight.
Amazing wrestling. Match of the year candidate on this show.
So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll deal with the whole fiasco at the end of it.
That was messy.
It was weird. But the wrestling was better, so we're going to talk about that, starting with our opening match of the evening, which saw Death Rider members Claudio, Castagnoli, and John Moxley face off against Don Callis family members Konosuke, Takeshita, and Hechicero. Obviously, this being before the matchup between Takeshita and Moxley for the AEW Continental Championship on Sunday with no time limit following their most recent time limit draw.
Oh, yeah.
Before I jump into it, boy, what a shiner on Takeshita.
Right? That was rough.
That would put me out for at least 2 weeks. And my man's out here wrestling tonight, and he's going to wrestle on Sunday.
I know I'm not a tough man. I'll stand up for myself. I'll put my dukes up. But I know when to go down. And that would have put me down.
Well, there's a reason we're talking about wrestling and not actually wrestling, and that's definitely one of them.
As is the American way.
Yes. But speaking of eyes, that's kind of how this match ended, and it sounds abrupt for me jumping into it that way, but it was a fairly abrupt one where after a kick out, Claudio ended up in the corner in front of referee Mike Posey, and then Hechicero, who had gotten the pinfall attempt, got up and charged at Claudio. Claudio got out of the way, so Hechicero was forced to put on the brakes. Obviously, Posey cowered for his life in the corner.
Wouldn't you?
Yes, all due respect to Mike. But that allowed Claudio to spin Hechicero around and poke him in the eye. And then Claudio just rolled him up and pinned him for 3. And it was very out of nowhere to the point where I don't have a lot of other notes because it happened so quickly. Moxley was down and out on the outside, as was Takeshita. I'm not even sure how they took each other out. I'm assuming they did. And then it just ended. Go ahead.
What were we going to say?
I was going to just go into with the post-match shenanigans, but...
let's talk about the match, because I think the post-match shenanigans were kind of entertaining in their own right, that they deserve their own. I enjoyed the match, but watching it reinforced something that has been my problem with the Don Callis family since the beginning. I love Hechicero. You love Hechicero. He's amazing. Can you tell me anything really about the character?
He's a wizard, Harry.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But my point is, I would want to be excited for him versus Claudio for the CMLL title.
Yes.
But it's not Hechicero versus Claudio for the CMLL title. It's Don Callis family member versus Claudio for the CMLL world title. Like, that's even been part of the story, that all the gold for the Don Callis family. Like that is what Don has been advocating for. So it's not, I want Hechicero to win a title. It's, I want Hechicero to bring me a title. And I get that from Don's perspective. He's the heel manager who's power hungry. I get that. But that's actually just what the story is. Like, there's no personal heat to these guys. And again, I love Hechicero. This match was fun. I love the bit. I don't know if you clocked it or if you liked it the way I did. There was one great bit where Takeshita was running at Mox, and then Claudio just comes in like the Swiss Superman that he is, hits that running European uppercut.
Yep.
And then Mox follows up with a clothesline that spins Takeshita out. There were some fun spots here. But I'm invested in Takeshita because he's a person outside of the Don Callis family. And of course, we love Claudio, we love Mox. I was a little thrown off. I shouldn't be. Claudio cheating to get the win. Because we're so used to now babyface Mox that I think we all just kind of assumed everybody went along with it. But that's like, no. Yuta's still a little shit. Claudio's clearly still cheating. So I wonder if that we've been wondering if / when like the personality clash was going to hit. Maybe this was a reminder. We are still the bad guys. Doesn't matter how you're acting, Mox. So I did appreciate the ending.
Yeah, let's be realistic here. Nobody in this match is seen as the bad guy by the crowd right now, because you're right. Like, Hechicero might not have any heat as a bad guy character, but it might just be because he doesn't have any heat in general as a bad guy because everybody fucking loves him. You know, he's still getting cheered unless Don is there and they're beating somebody down, a la what happened after the match, which we'll get into in a second. But I think that is one of the things. Like, I love Hechicero, and people want to cheer him, even though he is one of Don's, he's one of Don's guys. I almost called him a lackey. I was like, no, he is not a lackey. He's just one of Don's wrestlers.
But that's the problem. There are lackeys in the group.
Yes.
There are. Like, an El Clone is a lackey. A Rocky Romero is a lackey.
Rocky's a lackey. Archer's a lackey. But there's levels to it.
You could like El Clone and also acknowledge he's a lackey.
But he's doing a lot more wrestling than just like run-ins and beatdowns and stuff. Guys like Rocky, I know Rocky does a little bit of wrestling now, but I think, he's realized that he doesn't have to do as much as he used to, and he's been probably doing more backstage and character stuff.
Yeah.
But he's mostly like doing run-ins and beatdowns. Archer mostly doing run-ins and beatdowns, especially because I think he broke his arm or his wrist or something.
This was the first time I saw him get physical in a long time.
Right. So, especially like, and even then, like when he does it, it's something like this. So what's up? You know it. So like, I get what you're saying, but like, Hechicero not a lackey. He's wrestling far too much to be a lackey.
He's
just not at the top of the Don Callis family hierarchy.
No,
and that is very clearly Okada, Fletcher, and to a certain extent Takeshita. And then probably right after that is Davis, because he also has a title. And then and I forgot Andrade is up probably in the top tier as well.
Where the hell was he tonight?
Good question. I imagine he'll be on. Oh, he's wrestling on Collision.
It felt like, I know, like you said, I know that's going to be the answer to a lot of things. It felt like there were chunks of people missing tonight.
Yeah, I know. Like, Andrade has a match against Mascara Dorada on Collision, which should be good. Really fucking good. And then I know who you're gonna say, like Tekla and Statlander weren't there tonight, but I know we're hearing Stat on Saturday, so that's gonna be a thing. And she just had a match in. I was gonna say she just had a match in England, but apparently so did Willow. So, but that might be part of it. She just faced the formerly known as Dakota Kai in what looked like a good match.
Looked like a banger.
Yeah. But back on track here. Yeah, just to hop into the happened after the match. We were talking about the beatdown, and there was a beatdown because right after the match, Archer and Davis did come down. They went in for the attack. They got Claudio first and then dragged Moxley back into the ring. And Archer even took out Marina when she tried to get involved with his cast.
Amazing.
Just laid her out.
He didn't even do much. He just kind of stood there.
Yeah. I do like the Cowboy Bob Orton cast, though. That's so bad.
I
Anyway,
love Archer. I unashamedly love Archer. He's such a good mid-card monster.
Yeah. And he has been since the start. And I understand, he's getting up there and he's not doing as much anymore, but he can still come down and do this. He could be Don's bodyguard. He can get physical when he has to. If he has to have a match every once in a while, he's great at it. Like, he's so good in his role right now.
Yes, exactly.
And I think he's like a day one AEW guy too, so I don't see him leaving anytime soon.
He was in the inaugural tournament for the TNT title.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody. He was in the finals.
Yep. Let's see. He also won the IWGP US title off of Mox once. Anyway, as Don comes down, Davis gets a chair and he gives it to Takeshita, and Davis and Archer are holding Moxley there for Takeshita to take him out. But after some wrestling with it, pun intended, Takeshita decides to not take Moxley out and absolutely refuses. Don and the family, especially Hechicero for some reason, are super pissed off about it, but they eventually all back down as Takeshita wishes. So
that's the stuff. Like, I love Hechicero being extra pissed.
Yeah.
It gives him personality. And considering he's not getting, other stories, this is how you get attached to a guy. So to go with what I said before, he's so goddamn good. Just give me a story.
Yeah. And I think you get them sometimes, but it might be just kind of like an availability thing because he's not always around. Obviously he's dual contract with CMLL, who just sent him over to New Japan for a bit, which is why we hadn't seen him in a while. So there's a balancing act with him, but hopefully Tony can give him some cool stuff. To go to some other comments here from It. Shout out to you having a couple beers for this. Cheating against Don is okay. You know what? I think that's fair.
I agree.
Also saying Hechicero is more like a sergeant in the family than a private. And I think that's actually about right. That sounds
agree.
right. And he also, he was doing the one doing the most yelling at Takeshita, which is very interesting. Apparently, and they sold this on commentary too. This has been happening a lot. Takeshita faced Claudio on Saturday on Collision, and I believe Hechicero tried to get involved, and Takeshita waved him off, wanting to do it himself. So, kind of further driving a wedge between Konosuke and the rest of the family here, almost kind of led by Hechicero as opposed to Okada, because Okada's kind of working in the shadows, whereas Hechicero is just being like, dude, what the fuck? We're supposed to be a family and help each other. Why aren't you accepting my help?
It also helps when the eventual sides are taken that it's not going to just feel like, wow, why did everybody randomly turn on Takeshita?
Yeah.
Like, it's building. It's building.
Yeah. Everyone's like, okay, he's like clearly not one of us anymore. He's not, doing what Don wants, which is the point of this. He's got to go. And we'll talk more about everything else with that with Fletcher and Okada later, but I do think that makes sense. All right. Following that, we went to a quick backstage interview with Willow Nightingale and Persephone from CMLL. They were facing off for the TBS Championship a bit later in the show, and Willow was super excited about that match tonight. But she first wanted to congratulate Persephone on defeating Mercedes Moné and winning the CMLL World Women's Championship. That happens, I think, in the last couple of days. Maybe it was over the weekend. Also, apparently, another banger. Go watch your women's indie wrestling, kids.
Apparently, Mercedes is only down to 7 now. Only 7.
And she's in Italy right now, and she might be losing another one.
She did. I think she did already. I think so.
So, yeah, that's what she's doing at the moment, if you're wondering why she isn't on TV. But Willow's super hyped for Persephone, and Persephone thanks her, congratulates Willow on beating Mercedes back in the day for the TBS title. But she says that between the two of them, she thinks she hit Mercedes harder. Willow disagrees, but she likes her enthusiasm and hopes she brings that same level of energy to the ring tonight.
Persephone, who now also has her own AEW contract.
Oh, good for her. She's a dual contract as well. Nice. I'm a fan of hers, and I thought she had a good match tonight, which we'll talk about later. But it'll be nice to see her more in.
So AEW. Good at such a young age. She's only 24.
Damn, really?
Yep.
Good for her. All right. After that, we went to commercial, came back with Kyle Fletcher and that carny piece of shit, Don Callis. And Don's hyping up Kyle before his match with Speedball, which is about to come on in a second. And then MJF interrupts, and he comes over, and he says that he is looking forward to seeing what Kyle does to Speedball because Speedball kicked Max in the face last week, and now he wants Fletcher to beat the shit out of him.
Did he call him Karate Kid?
Yeah, he's like Kimasabe, something Karate Kid.
My God.
Fletcher responds by asking Max who he thinks he is, talking to him like that. And he says he's going to beat the hell out of Bailey for himself and not because MJF told him to, because he doesn't take orders from Max. MJF then sidesteps Kyle and looks at Don and tells him he needs to teach his guys how to talk to the world champion and then walks away. And Kyle's like, Don, we better not be working with that guy. I couldn't say if I could tell. Did he say with or for him?
He said for.
Yes.
Don
said with.
Yes.
Very important distinction. I just want to double check. And yes, Don says, of course, we're not working with him. I'm not crazy. That leads to the aforementioned Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball Mike Bailey match for the TNT Championship. I was so hyped about this because their Continental Classic match ruled. That still might be TV match of last year, right? That was the end of last year.
Yeah,
it's close.
There. It's up there, yeah.
That might have been one of the greatest Dynamite matches ever. So I was really excited to see how they're going to follow it. It lived up to the hype. It did. So let's see. You had Don on commentary. Okada and Davis did initially come out with Fletcher, but they went to the back as he went down the ramp. But take note of them. Bailey got into arm bars early.
Mark it down.
Yep. That kind of hampered Fletcher throughout the match, and it was something that Bailey went after early and often. I'm going to get towards the end of the match here. So after a nasty poison run off the top rope, Bailey hit the time adventure, and then Fletcher kicked out. Bailey kept up the assault, but then Fletcher hit a counter Michinoku driver, and Bailey kicked out of that. And then this went completely off the rails in a good way because so much happened, much like the last one, where they just hit everything within like a 3-minute span. It happened again, and I just could not type fast enough to keep up with all of it. It was crazy. Just go watch it. But that all kind of came to an end when Kazuchika Okada came out from near the announce desk and hopped up on the apron, wielding Don's famous screwdriver. Obviously, referee Paul Turner had to go over and get Okada off of the apron, and that distraction allowed for Fletcher to eye gouge Bailey as Fletcher was up on Bailey's shoulders. So Fletcher jumped down and then turned around to find Mark Davis sliding him one of the trio's titles belts. And then he brained Speedball, tossed the belt out of the ring, got Speedball up, hit him with the sheer drop brain buster, and pinned him for the 3 to retain his title. So a couple of things here, James, because one, this was a banger, right? It was an absolute banger. And I was initially a little disappointed in the end. I actually forgot that Bailey will be getting another shot at the trios titles with Knight and Mascado Dorada, actually. Or is it him or Mystico? I think it's Mystico, my bad.
Mystico, yeah.
Yes, they'll be getting another shot at the trios titles on Sunday. Because my initial thought was, as we were getting closer and closer to the time limit, it's like, let this go time limit draw and run it back on Sunday. But both, obviously, Bailey was already booked. So we went this way, which still works because, as you know, we continue this theme with the Don Callis family. Okada makes himself look good to Fletcher. And he helps to continue to, try to be or prove himself to be Kyle's best friend while continuing to drive the wedge between Fletcher and Takeshita before this inevitable probably betrayal to Takeshita comes along.
So there are a couple different things that I want to acknowledge. To go off your point, I think it's big, even though they didn't say it. But I think it's big that we saw 2 in a row with 2 very different reactions. Takeshita refused to go the dirty route. Fletcher didn't think twice. The totally burped there, and I apologize. The moment Fletcher needed the help, he called for it. So I think that's going to be something to take note of as we get closer to the implosion.
And I think that works very well with Fletcher's, albeit recent and short history with Speedball, but obviously he couldn't win clean against Speedball in the C2, and it looked like he was going to lose again because, good Lord, did Speedball have a counter for everything Fletcher threw at him. So calling for help in an opportunity when he actually has the opportunity to do so against Bailey does make a lot of sense for his character considering their history.
So I don't know how to percentage it up until the 5-minute mark, because once they announced there's 5 minutes left, both men went into a gear I didn't know human beings could go into. They were moving so rapidly. They were doing so many motions, so many movements. But before that 5-minute mark announcement, they were having a pretty back and forth match. I'd say the momentum was starting to heavily lead towards Speedball when there was a moment every time I looked away to either write it down or to think about it, he was diving to the outside onto Fletcher. Like there was not a side of the ring where Fletcher was safe because Speedball kept diving onto him.
That springboard plancha corkscrew moonsault. I didn't even know human beings could do that.
I can't. Maybe he can, but I don't know that Speedball's human.
Doesn't seem like it. Well, he's French Canadian, so take that as you will.
We're trying to broaden our scope to different markets, so I won't say anything. But
I'm just screwing around. Good fishing up in Quebec.
But from the moment that 5-minute mark announcement hit, Speedball, the storytelling was fantastic because Speedball, you could tell, started to get desperate. He was moving faster. He was going for pins. He was going for big moves. He hit a unbelievable roll-up that I really thought he had Fletcher beat. But it was so well done. And I wasn't sure where everything was going. What up, Maria? How you doing?
Hey, Maria. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The C2 match, didn't it end with that roll-up?
I believe it did. Which is why it was such a good callback, whether you remembered it or not. So good. And I didn't know if it was going to be a draw or not. I knew I knew Speedball wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was going to be a draw or not. And while I would have liked the draw to give Speedball some heat to get a rematch, I think this is better because I don't know how Sunday's going to go. And I'm excited. I thought this match was great. Fletcher needs these big wins. He just does. And Speedball just continues to look amazing. And important to note, because commentary pointed it out, tomorrow marks 1 year of Speedball in AEW.
That's it?
Right? Speedball has accomplished so much in a year. And I'm not talking championships. I'm not talking accolades. I'm talking Speedball feels essential to the DNA of what AEW is right now. And to do that in a year, bravo to them. Bravo to Speedball. So I'm very, very grateful for this matchup. I think tomorrow being the 1 year mark of their time in AEW, what better way to mark it than with a banger of a match? Quite frankly, I think TV match of the year possibly so far.
Bold. I think Bandito MJF was TV this year.
It was very good. It was very good.
I think the only thing that would probably take away from it is the interference at the end. And Maria's saying that she didn't like it because, a clean loss wouldn't hurt anyone. And I don't think you're wrong there, Maria. I think as we were saying, I think right before you joined us, it just the story has helped more especially considering when you juxtapose it what happened with Takeshita beforehand, the fact that Kyle obviously doesn't think he can beat Bailey straight up, and then the idea that Okada wants to continue to help Fletcher to befriend him. I think that all works very, very well, and he gives Speedball an out for maybe one more match where he possibly takes the title. I do think, though, you're right, James, that Speedball, he wasn't going to win here. I don't know what happens on Sunday with those trios titles, but I think they keep them just because it makes more sense if they do this Takeshita turn on Sunday, if all of these guys have championships and he's the one who can't get it. So
we'll see. I think there's also, I'm chewing and I apologize, guys. I do think there is a reality where the trios titles get lost, but Takeshita wins the title for Mox.
And we're just going to keep going with this, I guess?
I think the betrayal could still happen, but he refuses to cheat again. And that's what gets the family to finally turn on him.
Well, there's no not that there's no interference, but no one's allowed ringside during a Continental title match. So it would be a little more difficult for them.
They've done it before, though.
No, I know. I didn't say impossible. I said more difficult.
Yeah.
In kayfabe.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Let's see. Maria, in regards to Speedball, saying a lot of people claimed AEW was going to bury him or he was going to get lost in the shuffle. But she is predicting that he will be TNT champion by the end of the year.
I would enjoy that.
Yeah, he would be a TNT champion at the minimum. Well, I don't want to say at the minimum, but he'd probably be that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised with that or a national title run. I don't know where that international championship is going anytime soon, just because Okada has it. But we'll see. Yeah, he's getting gold. He's getting more gold, and it'll be singles gold easily by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
She also thinks Knight's going to turn on him this weekend.
I don't know if it'll be this weekend, but I think by Dynamite.
Yeah, I can see it happen maybe on Dynamite. Just because, especially if they lose the match for the trios titles and they don't get them back, I think Knight's going to be incredibly upset.
I think so.
Especially if Speedball is a guy who gets pinned, then Knight will blame him. Or you can make it even more hypocritical, have Knight get pinned and have him blame it on Speedball because of something else that Speedball did.
Yeah.
And then there you go. It would be something
I'm seeing a lot of people online mentioning this. And we might be building towards a new embassy. I don't know if you remember the embassy or ever heard of the embassy.
Yeah, it was Nana's group back in the day in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Swerve's heel. It feels like the connection tonight is there. Wouldn't hate it. They would need somebody else, and I don't know who that third person would be. But
is there anybody on the roster who used to be in the embassy?
That's a great. You keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
Because I weirdly think Ciampa might have been in it, but I'm trying to remember if I read that correctly on his Wikipedia page. But even if he was, I don't think it would work for this iteration.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
It back. Especially because he's doing his own thing now, which we'll talk about later, and he looks awesome doing it.
All right, so
all right, well, while you look, speaking of Swerve Strickland, following a commercial break, and also a bunch of fucked on Callis, fuck Ice chants during the last match, we had a Brody King standby match, and we had a quick picture-in-picture promo from him where he said he's been looking all over San Jose for Swerve, but he can't find him. And now he's just got told he's got another standby match that he's not even ready for. Whatever, though, he's going to go out there once again and prove that he's the most dangerous man in AEW. And he kind of, has a pretty good argument here as he beats the dude in about 30 seconds following a massive lariat and a gonzo bomb. And it only took that long because he kept looking around for Swerve to make sure that he wasn't going to attack him during the match. So, Maria said Keith Lee could join the embassy.
My heart isn't ready. By the way,
neither is his, apparently.
Fucked up. Anyway, Ciampa was part of it. He was part of the third generation of it. But I saw somebody, not that I saw somebody say this, but I think it would be a great callback and a great way to reinvigorate him. AR Fox would be good.
Ooh, yeah, especially he's boys with Swerve, you know, so like I think that would work out pretty well. I would like that a lot.
Ooh, recruit the bounty hunter to join the new embassy.
Oh, my
I
man,
will
Brian
say.
Keith.
So, did you see they have a new name?
They finally got a name. No, what is it?
Paid in Full.
Phenomenal name. Honestly, Bill works in there too.
Yep.
But yeah, throw Paid in Full in there. Make that the tag team. Throw Fox in there. You know, he can eat pins.
I'm willing to go no Fox, but I Maria with the great one there. I think Keith and Bill would be perfect for this.
Paid in Full is awesome. I saw somebody bitching that they weren't being utilized at all, and I was like, "You just clearly don't watch Collision." They had a big feud against Eddie and the Ortiz and the Rascals that ended up parking lot brawl.
They're also doing stuff on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I know you don't watch everything, but come on, people. Anyway, so Brody has his match, kicks this dude's ass. Hey, Dragoon. And he starts walking around celebrating. He's talking shit to the camera about, to Swerve. And as he's leaving, he gets a little too close to the crowd as he's high-fiving people. And somebody, a hooded figure, who I guess, came in from WWE. I almost caused James to choke to death. Takes the chain and wraps it around Brody's neck. They then jump over the barricade and throw Brody into the ring post, and then they obviously reveal themselves to be one Swerve Strickland. Swerve throws Brody in the ring, and he begins choking with the chain again, but King is able to get a base under himself, start to stand up, and then he broke the fucking chain. Hi, Dragoon. It's been pretty good. I thought the show was okay. The wrestling was good, and then we had the end of the show. So yeah, Brody broke the fucking chain, and Swerve's like, I fucked up. So he tries to run away, but Brody catches him, hits him with a side suplex, and then throws him in the corner for a cannonball. And then Brody grabs the chain, wraps it around his arm, and takes Swerve and begins choking him out, hanging him over the ring ropes and off the side of the apron. Prince Nana, God bless him, then comes in from behind and starts punching Brody, and it causes just enough of the distraction for Swerve to get out of the choke and hit a arm breaker over the ropes onto, apparently, what they said on commentary, Brody's previously broken arm, and that allows Swerve to escape up the ramp. So this is a fun segment. I think Tony Schiavone, I've never heard him more shocked in my life as after Brody broke the chain. Because, Brody broke the chain, hit all of his moves, and then Schiavone again just goes, he broke the chain. But I think, obviously, James, the thing to set up here is, A, Brody's he's just cool, and he's a badass, and B, this arm thing.
Yes. So just round the whole thing. This was dumb. I enjoyed it, but it's dumb. Tony Khan's like, you don't have your ring gear. I'm still going to make you wrestle. You weren't on the card, but I'm going to make sure you wrestle. That's dumb.
Honestly, that feels a little more like Brody's fault. He's been on a lot of standby matches. He should probably be ready, but he's so distracted by Swerve that looking all over for him that he wasn't.
Hold on.
/ Regal.
Time out. I understand the Regal concept of you should always be ready to wrestle. If you're there, you should always be ready to work. Sure. But you're telling me Tony Khan in kayfabe doesn't have a whole locker room full of people who are ready to wrestle? But he's like, no, you need to fucking learn, Brody. You work when I tell you to work.
Brody, I don't know. Brody was on standby. He should have been ready. Also, if I'm Tony Khan, Brody is one of my most over stars right now, whether or not it's because people love him or the fuck Ice Chance or both. But
well, then book him for the show. Don't make him standby. And you know what? The show went past 10 o'clock. Why did you need a standby match?
I don't know, man. Look, this has been terrible kayfabe, and I don't care.
I
don't. Look, I mean,
I don't care.
Point.
No, I said this was great.
Yeah.
This was
Brody
so
looked like a
fun.
monster.
I acknowledge that this was fun. It's dumb though. But regardless, once we get past that fact, this was a lot of fun. He looked great. I got worried when Swerve had the upper hand for so long. Because there's no way Swerve doesn't win on Sunday. He has to win. After the heel turn, he needs the win.
I think he's going to cheat, but yeah.
And that's why I'm glad they did the hand thing. Give us a reason, give us an out. As long as both guys look good, it doesn't matter who really gets the win, even though Swerve needs it like 10% more than Brody does.
Yeah, just because Brody is going to be over either way, and he can come back and get a big win against somebody else and be fine. And he isn't really establishing a new character, whereas Swerve is maybe not establishing a new one, but reestablishing one. Yes. And the win will help him more, especially again, if he does something, scandalous or underhanded rather to win the match, and then probably beats the shit out of Brody after. Or at least tries to, and then maybe Brody kicks his ass. Like maybe that's.
I wouldn't mind if competitive match that Swerve wins because he's vicious heel Swerve, and then maybe Bandito comes out for the save, and we get Swerve Strickland as Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah, or Fernando, he said Kenny's going to come back to help Brody win. Maybe he comes out for the save.
Yeah, I don't see Kenny getting involved in the match, but maybe he does show up after. But I do know Kenny is currently in Japan right now.
Yeah.
Like today, he is in Japan.
Yeah, he's at whatever video
Capcom.
game. Yeah, Capcom. But he could be back by Sunday. I'm not saying that's a quick flight, but it is any flight.
The last report I heard was that Kenny was supposed to be there for every day of the convention, but he was doing everything he could to not be there for the last day of the convention so he could show up for Revolution. So there is no confirmation one way or the other, but he tried or is trying.
Well, he's on the other side of the date line too, right? So technically he could work that day and then fly back and it'll be the day after. Hulk Hogan taught us that, remember?
That man's worked 400 days a year. True goddamn hero. Let's hit some of these comments real quick.
Yeah, let's see. We have Dragoon saying he's really bad. Swerve went heel. It's good that they're back here. He's glad Brody's being pushed more. And he also loves James What's Missing Gisanti. See, he loves you. He just likes getting on your case.
Anyway. Swerve going heel was something we called a while ago, and it was absolutely the right move for him and for AEW. So that's great. Brody being pushed, fuck ice. I hope that's not the only reason, but good. Love you too.
See, look, he likes your skincare routine. See, he's got you. We welcome in Fernando. What's going on, my guy? Thought Dynamite was
what up, Fernando?
Also thought Kyle versus Speedball was amazing. Yes, it was. And so good segment. It's one of those, these are questions you don't have to ask because wrestling isn't real segments, but it's still a good segment. All right, after that, we went backstage real quick with Speedball for an interview. Renee asked him how he's going to rebound following his recent losses. First, the loss of the trios title, and then the loss of the losing tonight for the TNT Championship before his rematch for the trios titles on Sunday. Speedball says that he could go on and on about how the better man didn't win tonight and how Fletcher needed to cheat to win, but he is not that type of man. He is someone who looks forward. He's going to look forward and get ready for their trios title match where they're going to regain the championships. All right. After that, we went back to the ring for Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus the Dogs. Dave Finlay in his first, I don't want to say his first AEW match, but his first AEW match as a member of the roster. And Gabe,
wasn't that Collision?
Did he have a match on Collision? Fine, his first Dynamite match.
Yeah, first Dynamite match.
Cool. So many qualifiers. All right, I will jump to the end here. After a couple of topes to the dogs, Orange and Darby are on the outside taking it to them. Darby has Kid on one side. Orange has Finlay on the other. So Darby sets up Kid on a steel chair, climbs up to the top, and hits a drop kick to the floor. Ow. That, for some reason, forces referee Bryce Remsburg out of the ring to check on both men. So then on the other side, Orange is lining up Finlay for an orange punch near the corner of the barricades when Clark Connors comes in from behind and hits Darby in the back of the head with a tire iron.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, a little bit annoying. Back in the ring, Darby has gotten Kid in the middle, and he is up top again looking for the coffin drop. But however, when he goes for it, Kid catches him into a sleeper. Darby counters it by flipping over and getting Kid into a pinning predicament. So then Kid has to release it and kick out. But right after that, Finlay comes into the ring, and he nails Darby with, I believe they called it the Dominator, which I'm guessing is his finisher.
That is the name of the move, though.
Oh, okay. Either way. Kid followed that up with his nasty-ass pile driver, and then he pinned Darby for the win. After the match, Finlay and Kid started beating down Darby as Connors took Orange and tossed him into the ring and hit him with a spear. And then the dogs stood tall over the two of them before Finlay started waving somebody down, and Roderick Strong came out and started making his way to the ring. Kid then tosses a lifeless Orange to Roddy, who looks like he's setting him up. But as the dogs pose behind him, he turns around and throws Orange's head into Finlay's, his head. His other one. Roddy then hit Kid with a knee before taking down Connors, and then he hit Finlay with another knee to knock him out of the ring. Darby then got up and hit Kid with his skateboard, while Roddy went back after Connors and hit him with the end of Heartache. And then as the dogs retreat, Roddy helped Orange up, and then he gives Orange a massive high five when Orange puts his hand up to offer it.
I popped way harder than I thought I would. Like, truly. I don't know about the group she's mentioning, but there was that fear. Maria said Roddy is setting Orange Cassidy up. He's secretly with the Death Riders. I don't know Death Riders, but maybe the dogs.
I called this last week. I said, Roddy's going to come back. He's going to help. And then he's going to turn on them at the pay-per-view. I'm so far 1 for 1.
Couple things. I said this last week and I maintain it. I don't like that they lost last week when it was Connors and Kid, but now win this week when it's Kid and Finlay. One, it makes Connors look like the weak link. It makes the group feel like they aren't a force without Finlay. I get it. It's very wrestling 101. I understand. I get it. It's like the underlings have the first match, out comes the big boss afterwards. I get that. You should want to make all of them feel like a force to be reckoned with. Not just when the boss is fighting. I don't think it would have mattered if Orange and Darby lost last week. It's not like, oh my God, they lost. What a bunch of losers. Like, it's Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
They will be more than fine. So I really wish they had lost last week and lost again this week. Because then, let's say you guys are right and Roddy does join them on Sunday. You go from a group that's already very imposing to, wow, you have an unstoppable force on your roster now. So I wish that it had played out a little bit differently, but I am very glad to see this group feels imposing so far. Finlay with one of the quotes of the century as he was interviewed by SRS. And he says, I've never made money with my dad and brother, but I've made a lot of money with Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. So that's why he came to AEW, to bury your own father and brother. Beautiful. No notes. Honestly, no notes.
I will say Kidd also had a pretty good quote in that interview as well. It was just, fuck New Japan.
Son of a bitch. The way he turned in a year. But I'm really interested to see where they slot this group, because I don't necessarily think they should be main event bound. I think the trios title should be very quick.
Yeah.
Very, very quick. But
they need it in between. They need it in between there. I would guess, assuming the Don Callis family holds on to them on Sunday, Rascals.
Yeah.
Then these guys.
Yeah. No, I very much so. But something that was announced for Saturday that I'm very, very excited for: Bang Bang Gang Trio. We're getting Austin Gunn, we're getting Juice, and we're getting Ace Austin.
Hell yeah.
It's been a minute, and the timing of them doing this feels, oh, we've got another Bullet Club trio here. Let's get this ready. So I am very, very excited at the prospect of all these Bullet Club factions showing up at the same time. We have Bang Bang Gang, we have the Dogs, the Elite are always in play. So, oh god, give me a blood and guts with all these factions.
I'm trying to think of how that would work. I did mention, I think last week I said Forbidden Door, give me the 4-way like tag match with those guys, and then the new faction that got birthed out of Bullet Club in New Japan, which would be fun. But yeah, there's a lot of fun moving pieces here. I'm just happy Ace Austin's actually fucking tagging with those guys.
You and me both, brother. You and me both. Oh, real fan right here. Ace Austin glasses.
My man. We met, when we met him, he was a really cool guy. And I know you have some of the playing cards lying around too, James. So
if we get Bullet Club Civil War or Uncivil War, I will do an Ace Austin giveaway.
Yeah, because Maria's got a good point here. Like, you had Finlay kick the Jay White out of Bullet Club in the first place. And then, and now they're all coming here because they didn't really get kicked out. They all just kind of split. All right. The War Dogs and
the Dogs,
and everything. That was like, there was just kind of a fracture. So they just had the War Dogs, and then Bullet Club turned into whatever. I can never remember the name of it. So
Unbound, I think it is.
Yeah, it's on like Unbound, it's Unbound Company. There you go. Just to pop in a couple of comments here. Fernando thought it was a fun match. The Dogs, I agree with him. The Dogs are going to be a force in AEW, and it's going to be really fun. Not only seeing them against the guys we were mentioning just because of all the Bullet Club ties, but at some point, I love the Death Riders and them to come back around in their history and see what happens there.
Yeah.
That just seems like a fucking war.
Yeah, I could see it being if Mox gets kicked out of the Death Riders, he lines up with the Dogs. But that would kind of require the Dogs to turn face, so maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It
doesn't seem to work for me. Let's see. Fernando is very also excited that grammatically didn't make any sense, but he's also very excited that Roddy is not just a walking corpse. And we've talked about this before. Sometimes Roddy's character work isn't the greatest, but I'm glad he's doing something here right now, and then we'll see what happens with him on Sunday. Let's see. It was actually disappointed Roddy didn't turn. Telling it's coming. Charles, what's going on, dude? Nice to see you here.
Hi,
asking if Gabe Kidd was a dual contract, and no, he is all.
So, from what I was told. From what I read and all the reports that I read, he was dual contract for a little bit, but I think that time is over. I think he is strictly all elite now.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if he went back over there every once in a while just because of the talent sharing. But he is all.
And the thing is with Kidd too, he was slotted into a role of fuck AEW, I'm New Japan. And they've already refilled that role with Callum in New Japan already.
Yeah.
So they already have their Gaijin who's like, I don't need to go to AEW or WWE. I'm all New Japan. So I think he's done.
Glad you said all New Japan there, because if he was all Japan, that would have been worrying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, too, the current champ, who's the leader of Unbound Co., he's a very big fuck AEW guy as well. Forgive me for forgetting his name, but he also was just like, nah, fuck them. So I like I don't know if it's kayfabe or not, but it's been very interesting watching these guys and how they play both companies. Also want to say hi to Chris, also very hyped about the Dogs. And honestly, at a certain point, between the Dogs and Brody and Willow, also when she does the cannonball, AEW shows are going to start. Yeah, it's going to start sounding like a Georgia game. Oh, you know what else about Switchblade? Honestly, dude, I haven't heard a peep out of anything involving him. I just hope he gets healthy. And
the last time he was seen was Wrestle Kingdom for New Japan when Tanahashi retired. He looked all right. I mean, like, obviously he was wearing a suit, but he looked to be in good spirits. He didn't look hurt like Kota Ibushi, who literally hobbled his way down to the ring. He looked good. So I'm hoping we get him soon. They're being very, very quiet about it, which is frustrating. But hopefully we get him before summertime. That's really my hope.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Before All In, I think would be great.
Before All In, before Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Let's see. Charles saying, good for Kid. New Japan pay. Didn't think they were going to pay him as much as what he was worth. That's where the partnership is now with AEW. It's perfect. As I said, he can still go there. So, yeah. And that's part of also, too, like, New Japan, their business hasn't been as up as it had been in the past. I think the yen is also really down especially compared to the dollar. Like, there's a lot of financial stuff that's going on with them that is impacting what they can offer guys. And AEW, obviously, Tony has the money to throw around at dudes that he wants. And financially, it just makes a lot of sense for a lot of people to come over.
As the Dave Finlay stuff was happening, I forget who got quoted as saying it, but somebody backstage who has a relationship with all the companies said it's not AEW coming in and swooping up and scooping these guys. It's simply they are going to leave because there's no money in New Japan right now. Yeah. If you are a Gaijin, you are not making the money being there, unfortunately. Unless you have no opportunities in the United States, financially, it's just not a smart move at this point. So unless you have really the passion for New Japan, which a lot of people do. Kenny loved Japan. That's why he went. A lot of guys have that love for Japan and Japanese wrestling. Unless you really have that love, and unless you're like someone like Chase Owens, who is not going to get booked in the United States, you're better off right now.
Yeah. New Japan is the 2001 Oakland A's. They have a bunch of superstars, and they were really good, but they can't pay any of them, so they're all leaving. And now New Japan needs to figure out their version of Moneyball.
Is Rocky Romero their Billy Bean?
Kind of. I mean, I know Rocky's like the liaison between AEW and New Japan, but I'm trying to think of who it actually would be over there. I guess it's Tanahashi now, actually. Right? He's El Presidente, so... you know what, asking, have the former leaders of Bullet Club ever had a match? Now, obviously, all of them together have not. But we have had a couple of combinations of leaders face off against each other.
Balor. Everyone says AJ was the leader of Bullet Club. He was never the leader of Bullet Club. But...
He was the boss of Bullet Club?
He was the ace. He was the ace while Carl Anderson was the leader.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what John Cena had announced as at their match together. Yeah. It was like the true boss of Bullet Club or something like that.
So Balor and AJ have wrestled. Balor and Anderson have wrestled. Then Kenny. Kenny has only wrestled Balor in tag matches.
And that was before he was even in Bullet Club, right?
I can't prove it, but I think all right. It was Taguchi Japan. Yeah, I don't think it was ever during the Bullet Club tenure or after Bullet Club.
Yeah.
After Kenny and Jay White wrestled, but Jay White hadn't main evented yet. He was like, Kenny dropped the U.S. title to Jay White. Then Jay did wrestle Finlay, and that's what got rid of Jay White. So some of them have, but not the key matches that we all want have never happened. And are at this point are never going to happen. Kenny AJ is never going to happen, has never happened. Kenny Balor would be great, not going to happen more than
highly unlikely. Yeah.
I would love a Kenny versus Jay White at this stage. And I think we're bound to get Jay White versus Finlay again.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be, you could get Kenny versus Finlay as well. That's a possibility.
This is what I'll offer you guys. I will personally call Carl Anderson and say, hey, Machine Gun, I need you to go wrestle Jay White.
You probably do it. Get on it, James.
All right.
Let's have this Bullet Club match. Also,
I love it. I love Bullet Club. Yeah.
You know it's saying, don't worry, the Dodgers will sign all the new Japanese free agents. There's more? All right. Let's get rolling here. We got stuck on this for a little while.
Well, that was good. That was fun.
Good talk, though. But we have quite a bit more to talk about. Next up, we had our TBS Championship match between Willow Nightingale and Persephone. We'll jump to the end of this here. Persephone went for a sunset bomb off of the top rope, but Willow clung on to the ropes for dear life. I've never saw somebody hold the ropes that hard. And that forced Penelope to change tactics. So instead, she got out from underneath Willow and went and grabbed Willow by the shoulders to set her up for her finisher, which is the crucifix bomb. And then she walked Willow around the ring, but she kind of did it for too long. I don't understand why she just hit her with it. And that allowed Willow to get out of it, and she hooked Persephone's arms and brought her down to the mat with a backslide and kept her down for the 3 and the win. I like this match a lot, James, just because these women have very similar styles. They're powerhouses, but they're still very athletic, so they could do some surprisingly, I don't want to say surprisingly athletic moves, but like they each went for moonsaults. Willow missed hers off the top rope, and Persephone was able to hit her springboard, which was very impressive. So very styles make fights type of match. They had similar styles. I thought they had good chemistry after a little bit of a slow start, but they picked it up, and I really like this match in the end.
I agree. As Persephone is now dual contracted, she is, I guess she's all elite. I don't know if we got a graphic for it, but
yeah, didn't Tony give a bunch of them graphics like a few weeks ago, and she was one of them?
This is a good showing out for her. Being the CMLL Women's Champion is a big deal, especially like we talked about at her age at 24. So if this is what she's capable of now against somebody the caliber of Willow, imagine what she's going to be able to do in 2 years.
Yeah.
So very exciting to see this young talent thriving. This is obviously not our first exposure to her. She's been on AEW television prior. But this felt like the real unveiling. So it was a fun match. That moonsault was both beautiful and ugly. The one that Willow missed.
Yeah.
So that was a fun spot. I loved after the match, Willow smiling at Persephone. And like, that was like, she looked like she was saying that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I wasn't sure if they shook hands or not. I missed it there. So, but I definitely saw her like, definitely acknowledging like that was a good match, especially considering their earlier interaction. Willow was just happy to have a banger.
Absolutely. I do think the fact that they're acknowledging Mercedes, I feel like she's due back soon.
That makes sense.
I don't know if I pray she's not gonna like take the TBS title back.
I would hope not immediately. If anything, she should be going for the AEW Women's Championship.
I completely agree. I completely agree. But the match was a lot of fun. It, like you said, they have very similar styles, but obviously they're coming at it from like Willow is bigger and she uses her size to her power to add to her power, and it suits her character very, very well. Persephone was sort of fighting from underneath, but she never felt like an underdog. So it was a fun match. It was a fun match. And considering it was the only women's match of the night, I think they delivered.
Yeah. I really liked it towards the beginning of the match where I think Willow hit the first Hurricanrana, and Persephone was like, "Wait, what?" And Willow just started laughing, like, "I can do the lucha shit too, girl." Like, so they had really good chemistry in there, and I liked it a lot. Charles saying, "Oh, my bad." It was surprising to see a COL Women's Champion lose. It felt like they might be going for the time limit draw at the time. And I saw some people talking about this, and I think I thought this was a good idea. Willow going to Mexico and having a return match before the CMLL World Women's Championship, and then probably losing that one there just to kind of keep them even. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Or Willow starts winning titles.
A la Mercedes.
A la Mercedes. And Mercedes just crashes out when she comes back, seeing Willow with all these belts.
Maria saying, because obviously it was really cute how these ladies kept bringing up my CEO to make themselves look good to one another. She's coming back to get everything plus the AEW Women's World Championship. Mercedes will win that by the end of the year, I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
But I would find it really interesting, especially considering she's starting to lose her titles, if she loses all of them before she comes back.
I feel like that's the plan. That way she's unencumbered and she can just straight up go for the women's title without the belt collector gimmick.
Yes. Well, my question was actually going to be, assuming that happens, I'm curious to see if because of her crash out, she has to start like all the way at the bottom.
I mean, sure, but you almost set her up for a babyface run in that instance.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends if you want to do that or not.
I love Mercedes, and I cheer her no matter what. I know she's Maria's girl, but I have been Team Mercedes for a very, very, very long time. And I'm going to cheer her babyface heel no matter what. But I do think it needs to be acknowledged that she is just inherently better as a heel.
Oh, I 100% agree. But, maybe, returning wrestler, a lot of times they are faces. So
yeah,
people are just happy to see them again.
We'll see. Like, I wouldn't mind her winning the title as a face and then turning heel pretty quickly whilst champion.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The crowd, she debuted as a face, but the crowd didn't want to cheer her.
Well, they cheered her in Boston, and then subsequently, because her promos, like you said, as a face, they're not as good. And that's not to say they're bad, but obviously she's just so much better as a heel.
I'll be willing to say, again, as a huge Mercedes fan, sometimes her face promos are kind of bad. Like, I can acknowledge, like, if you like someone, you should be able to acknowledge the faults too,
Fair. I just didn't want to incur the wrath of Maria.
She can't hurt me. She's not here. She's like Joe Hendry. I say her name and she shows up and starts choking me up.
But I think you could do she has to start at the bottom thing and still keep Mercedes really, and I mean this respectfully, bitchy, because she's like, I'm Mercedes Moné. Why am I starting at the bottom? And it would still kind of work. But I think inherently, yes, she would eventually become a babyface because she would have overcome the odds.
It's the same thing that happened with Mox in the C2.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if and when she comes back, how they decide to play it. But it's intriguing to think about.
Yeah.
All right. Following this, we got a quick promo package for Tommaso Ciampa and Mark Briscoe. Yep, I agree, Charles. We got that bald-headed fuck Ciampa back on Saturday as he attacked Briscoe on Collision and borrowed an old move by throwing him into the LED board.
That was 100% Gargano, right?
Yep. And then he hit him with the exposed knee. And he did this all as FTR looked on in the ring. So in the video package here, Ciampa said that he had been repressing the sicko inside of him for a long time. And now he's finally able to let it out. And Briscoe says that this is a Ciampa he knew and was expecting. But he questions why he would join up with FTR. And because of that, he's called up a couple of old friends of his. And they're going to beat their ass tonight. Obviously, those friends being the Bucks. You know it's saying, so let's see. Mercedes turns face, and Willow's her friend, and then backstabber right up.
She'll become Willow's sidekick, and then backstabber. Yeah,
that would be interesting. Put her, if you have her, Willow, and Harley, and back together, and like she's just trying to tolerate Harley for all those months, it'd be pretty funny.
By the way, just wanted on the record for everybody who defended what happened with the Iconics last week or the Inspiration, not even on TV this week.
Yeah, and I kind of get it. Like, you're building to the pay-per-view, like, you need the people on the pay-per-view to be on the show, but I agree. I miss my Inspiration. Maria's saying AJ had the same problem. His babyface promos sounded like heel promos. Yeah, a lot of them do. AJ was a good face, but even then, like, because I also had AJ, though, was a very good at keeping his promos very similar, but only slightly changing his character depending on if he was face or heel. You can say the same thing about, I think, like Moxley, too. Seth, depending on his character. You know, like, because like Drip God Seth, when he turned face, was still Drip God Seth. Yeah. Face Seth, following the whole Triple H turning on him thing, that was a little...
I think people were overly harsh on that, Seth, because the booking was just terrible.
Yeah.
But, like, that run he had when he was Intercontinental Champion and he was having, like, match of the night every week for, like, months.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, people... And then people just turned on him. Like, out of nowhere. And I'm like... Do you guys not remember he was the whole reason to watch the show for like a couple months? But whatever. I digress.
Fickle.
All
right. After that, we came back from commercial to the Babes of Wrath backstage. Harley's back there. She's hyped. Willow won. She's hyping her up. And Willow is also super hyped after defending the TBS championship against both Britain's and Mexico's best. In fact, she says she's on such a roll that she is ready to continue defending her titles. And she calls out Megan Bayne and Lena Cross for Revolution. She offers up a tag title match to the two of them, along with a TBS championship match on 0 Hour to Cross to prove, so Cross can prove to her how big and bad she really is. And then Tony later makes both those matches official.
What is with our baby faces acting very dumb?
Unfortunately, it's something that happens far too often in wrestling.
It is frustrating.
But Willow, she said, like, maybe it's the adrenaline and this might be dumb, but I'm doing it. She just YOLO'd and did it. That's basically what it was.
She really did. She's about to FAFO, and I'm not. Come on, guys. I still can't get over Hanger. I'm sorry. It's just dumb.
We'll get to him in a minute. But first, we have to get to that Dem Bucks versus Tommaso Ciampa and FTR match. This was fun, and of course, it started with them Bucks attacking FTR and Ciampa before the match started. But what else? How else was it going to start? These dudes are heated. Anyway, a couple notes here. Ciampa and Cash went for a meeting in the middle. Shout out to Toronto. But Matt ducked it, and Cash ended up super kicking Ciampa.
I love the dumb physics of that. Let me try to super kick someone who's on their knees. What? They moved? What? I kick my partner who's standing.
Well, so what happens is you go for the follow, like when you kick, you're going for a follow through, and when you hit somebody, you don't go as far. But if you miss, your momentum takes you, and then you end up kicking the other dude in the head. / Regal. All right. Anyway, towards the end of the match, Nick and Matt were setting up for more bang for your buck when Nick got pushed off the top by Cash and got sent through a table that got set up for some reason. I completely missed that. All I heard was the crowd chanting, "We want tables." And then 2 minutes later, Nick went through a table. I was like, oh, I guess that's why. Anyway, the FTR then won the attack. They hit a shatter machine on Briscoe, but then Matt was able to break it up, and he fought FTR all the way over to the announce desk where he was on top of it and he was trying to put Dax through it, but Dax countered and Cash had come up from out of the crowd where he was pushed by Matt, and he was able to combine with Dax to hit the spike pile driver into the announce desk, which took out both Matt and Dax. That left Briscoe in a 2-on-1 situation, but in the meantime, he was left one-on-one in the ring with Ciampa, where Ciampa hit him with the knee, but Briscoe was able to kick out of it despite it being to the back of his head. Ciampa then pulled down the knee pad and went for the knee again, but Briscoe ducked it and went for a J Driller. However, Cash had recovered and he got up on the apron and pulled Ciampa down, and that allowed Ciampa to hit the knee and pin Briscoe for the win. After the match, Ciampa immediately attacked Briscoe, just beating him down before hopping out of the ring and grabbing a couple of chairs. He hit Mark in the back with one, and then set them up seat to seat and dragged Briscoe up to the second rope. And then he took Briscoe and hit him with an air raid crash through the chairs as FTR just kind of looked on because they don't really care. So, James, this match ruled. It was weird seeing Ciampa on the same side as FTR, but it kind of worked in the enemy of my enemy at the moment is my friend thing.
Yeah.
And then everything that happened after, I like FTR not getting involved. Not their business. I know Dak was out, but it's not their business. You know, he could do what he wants to his current enemy.
The match was so much fun. The match was so much fun. PWG to the fullest. These are guys that have, in some shape or some form, have wrestled with each other, against each other. It doesn't matter the letters. They've wrestled all over the place. Some combination of these guys. Ciampa, the Bucks, Mark, FTR. There's a lot of history there. And it played out in this match. I really appreciated that. There was a part of me that was almost confused why we were having this match, simply because we're going to get the Bucks and FTR again on Sunday, and they were going to be the biggest parts of this match, which in a lot of ways they were. Obviously, the emotional stuff really came down to Ciampa and Briscoe, especially near the end, but a lot of the action was simply the Bucks and FTR. And despite both of us, maybe more so me than you, having been somewhat critical that it's like this match, which is supposed to feel important, is just going to be a whatever. Wow, we have the Bucks and FTR again. But tonight reminded me what is so magical about when those teams wrestle each other. They are the two best tag teams, not just in AEW, but possibly in all of professional wrestling right now. And they have been for the last 10 years. No shade to the Usos or New Day, who are also incredible tag teams, and at one point or another were definitely part of that conversation. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be special on Sunday. So this was a fun reminder for that. The Ciampa Briscoe stuff, I don't know where you build to, because I don't see Tommaso winning another singles title right away. I don't think so.
Well, he is in that Battle Royal on Sunday.
Which title is it for? The national?
It's for the national title. I think they said it was 21 guys in it because it's the blackjack.
We haven't had one of these in a long time, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see who's in it. They said Ciampa's going to be in it. I would think Briscoe is in it because of that.
I don't know after the.
Maybe not. Maybe we'll see. You know, depends on how healthy he is. Maybe he just comes out and costs Ciampa. Who knows? I got to imagine Jungle Jack is involved, and he has a high chance of winning, considering
how nuts is it going to be if he's not the one who wins this? If some just random fucking jabroni wins the national title.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, I know I don't want to call him a random jabroni, but Ciampa hasn't really had anything to do with that title. But him winning it out of nowhere would be pretty crazy.
Yeah,
yes, it's very good that Irish wrestler Rick O'Shea is in it right before St. Patrick's.
St. Patty's Day. Yeah. Yep. R-Truth, you great man. Yeah, I want to go to another comment here from Chris LeClaire. He has a feeling that the Young Bucks are winning this Sunday at Revolution. The rules of opposite momentum dictate that the Bucks are going to win. But the rules of opposite momentum are like 87% accurate.
Which is why I refer to it as the theory of opposite momentum, because
The
it's not
theory of opposite momentum.
Yeah.
So all signs point that the Bucks should win it. But
sorry, they're more like guidelines anyway.
Easy there, Captain Jack. The Cope and Christian of it all just make this so hard to see FTR losing.
Yeah, there's that. I know there's a theory of opposite momentum, but it's also fighting against the theory of people losing in their hometown. So you have that. But yeah, I think that's
AEW is not as bad about it though. True. AEW does like to give the hometown team the win here and there.
Yeah,
it's not foolproof, but they do it.
I think Charles has a point. Jack winning at home, he can win that because Brody's going to lose at home, and I think the Bucks are going to lose at home because, as you said, Cope and Christian have to come back at some point to fight FTR. And
for the love of God.
And I have to imagine they're going to win those titles in Canada, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the next pay-per-view.
Oh, please, God. Return here, month feud, win it.
Yeah.
And just be done.
Yes.
I resent the fact that something I want is going to happen because it's taken so freaking long that I don't really even want it anymore. But I wanted it for so long that I need it now.
It's more relief than happiness sometimes. I mean, look, I'm super excited for it. I super miss Cope and Christian. Yeah, so having them come back, the roof is going to blow off of the place when they come back. And the roof is going to blow off the place when they win the titles, again, most likely in Canada. So I'm really hyped for them to come back. And I know it's been a while. You know, Oakland's been away filming stuff. Christian apparently was hurt. But Spock, it'll work. And you're going to mark out for it too.
I am. It just sucks when you have so many great teams right now who should be going for those tag titles.
True. But I think Copeland and Christian are going to put on some bangers against a lot of them until they eventually drop it.
There's just going to be something really funny when Cope and Christian win it, and the Hardys, who have been TNA tag champs for so long, are going to drop the tag titles right before Cope and Christian win the AEW tag titles.
Yeah.
it's going to be fun.
Charles saying, I forgot Brody's at home. Wow, it's a very unpredictable card. He loves it. I am very hyped for that card.
Yeah.
Honestly, there is not a match I'm not excited for. Really excited. Lena Cross pulling double duty. I'm hyped for her. She's immediately on a pay-per-view and she's immediately in 2 title matches. I know, unfortunately, one of those came at the expense of Penelope Ford, but we're big Lena Cross fans here on the pod.
We are. I'm happy for her. I think she's losing the pre-show, and I think they're winning the tag titles.
Yeah, obviously there was the whole, what am I looking for there? Audible, they had a call a couple of weeks ago when Ford got hurt. So I would think, yes, that they're probably going.
How nuts would it be if Lena does win the title too, the singles title, the TBS title? She wins the singles title before Megan Bayne.
That would I don't know if that one's going to happen. I don't think Willow loses twice.
I don't think so either, but it would be really funny.
Yeah. All right, hang on. Let's see. Charles saying, what about Nick Wayne if Christian comes back? I think I heard he's close to healthy.
He's already back. He returned already.
Back.
He's in Ring of Honor. All of them are back. Wayne, Sabian, Mama Wayne, they're all back.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he's just doing Ring of Honor stuff. Cool. So yeah, that'll probably happen at some point as well. Let's see. Maria saying Penelope is probably going to be injury prone for an entire career. Unfortunately, maybe not. I know she wrestles a slightly high risk style. She takes the moonsaults, whatever. But sometimes you just go on a run of bad luck and then you're fine.
Yeah,
it happens.
And as you pointed out, that fall was not her fault. I'm not blaming anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anybody. Like, people who have been shitty to Harley Cameron grow up. But I don't blame her for what happened. That was like a freak miss.
Yeah, like, did she get perfectly caught? No. Did she land perfectly well? Probably not. And, sometimes you just land the slightest millimeter off and you snap something, whether it's a bone or a tendon. It happens, people. Yep. It's wrestling.
Yep.
Let's say, saying Ford can come back as back Swan. She took my role.
That's not I do kind of like that.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get that for a second, but now I got it. Willow needs to lose the tag championships. And Chris saying Willow will lose the TBS championship and retain the tag titles.
Interesting. So, I'm on the opposite side, but interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, one we have Maria saying Willow's going to lose the tag titles. We got Chris saying she's going to lose the TBS. I'm with you, James. I think she retains the TBS and loses the tag.
Yeah.
Because they were going to lose the tag anyway, it seems. So, all right, let's do this. We ended the show with this MJF and Hangman Adam Page press conference before the AEW World Championship Texas Death Match at Revolution. So to start things off, they had this in the back, in the press room. Crowd was not happy. There were boos at the start when they realized what was going on. There was some bullshit chants as well. They were upset. Luckily, they didn't completely hijack this entire thing. Whether it was they got muted or they just stopped caring or whatever it was, they didn't completely hijack it, thank goodness. Second of all, can't believe Dave Meltzer was there and didn't ask a question.
Well, I mean, look, not to break kayfabe here, but I don't think, I think all of those questions were pre-screened questions to get the story going.
Yeah. But they were from what seemed like legitimate people. There were people from local radio stations. Denise, I'm going to screw her name up. Scalado.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. She asked one of the questions. I'm surprised they didn't, have CVV down there for one of them.
CVV will never show up on AEW TV because he doesn't want to burn a bridge with WWE.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
He's at the press conferences sometimes though.
No, he is, but it's different to not have your face on screen.
True. So yeah, it was a little weird it being in the back. Maria said it's always in the middle of the ring. A lot of the times, stuff like this is. But the last time they had a big press conference like this, I feel like live on TV, it was back in Daly's place.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I actually think it might have been, maybe even wasn't the press conference. It might have been the debate between Jericho and Orange Cassidy the last time we saw something like this. So,
and even that was a lot of fun, but that was way more of a segment than this was.
Yeah, but you still had people asking questions. I think Bischoff had one. I think Meltzer might have. I'm not entirely sure about that. Actually, probably not. It was the middle of the pandemic. But yeah, it was still weird. Not weird. It was interesting that they had this in the back.
Yeah.
I thought this whole thing honestly was a bit of a gamble to begin with.
I personally, it didn't really work for me because it came across as so overly scripted.
Yeah.
But I can't be mad at them for trying something a little different. But I can also say I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I would agree. I almost felt especially because they started this at 10 o'clock. I was like, really? Are they putting this on YouTube? Where is this going? And then they went to the back, and I'm like, all right. So,
yeah,
I can run the whole thing down, but it's it's a lot. It was a lot of question and answer. And Frank, honestly, I just don't want to because it was good. I thought the guys answered the questions well. The questions were set up to, like you said, drive the story. I wish there was a little more and ahhing because it's a press conference. If you ever watch, a post-game press conference or even a pre-match press conference like you have for boxing or UFC or something, guys don't have the answers.
Yeah.
So, they're thinking about these questions and there wasn't a lot of pauses or, stumbling on words. And I get it. It's wrestling. But I thought you could have made it feel a little more realistic, a little more like a press conference. And because I understand the reporters reading off of something and knowing what they're saying and getting that clearly. But these guys are answering questions that they're not supposed to know the answers to, and they knew pretty much what they were going to say each time. And took the realism out of it for me a little bit.
Yeah.
That might just be a me thing.
No, I said it too. It really did feel overly scripted. It felt a little overly produced. And I appreciate them trying to blend reality with it, with these, like you said, the local radio people, like the known wrestling reporters, stuff like that. But overall, to me, it didn't really land.
Yeah, I would agree. To jump to the end of this, though, I think
hold on. I got to call out because this hurt. This actively hurt.
We're right here.
Oh man!
No, she's phenomenal at her job, and I understand her.
I guess.
Favorite, but
Rev, you're
shoving it right in our faces.
Rev, you're my favorite YouTuber.
Yeah, I'm kidding. You're mine too.
Wow. Okay, getting it from all ends here.
Hey yo. Anyway, I'm just going to go to the last question for this, and it was to Hangman, and whoever asked it says, if he doesn't win, who is he in AEW if he can't challenge for the championship? Which MJF thinks is a great question.
All right, first of all, it is actually a great fucking question.
Yeah, and everything before this seemed like it was just setting up for this question.
Yeah.
Including MJF completely taking out one of the reporters and his question. Good gracious. So Hangman actually, this is the one time he like stutters and was like, that's not going to happen because I'm going to win the championship. And then MJF cuts him off and he's like, that's funny because you're never going to be world champion again. And then Max is like, I actually got a couple of beers here, and they're in red Solo cups, I guess. And he wants to salute. Do Cowboys salute? I think he meant toast. Hangman. And he actually goes past Brian. He's like, I want to give Hangman the beer myself. And he gives it to Hangman. And he says to Hangman, never being world champion again. So Hangman slaps the beer out of MJF's hand. And in return, MJF throws his beer into Hangman's face. And that leads to Hangman throwing a right hand. And the brawl is officially on. The two fight from the back all the way up to the front into the crowd. A security guard got taken out. Poor dude. I think did MJF throw him into Hangman?
It looked like it. Yeah.
Instead of like a trash can, he threw the security guard into him. So eventually they fight back over the barricade to the ring, and Hangman is on top of MJF, grounded pound, and security spills out, and they start pulling both men off of each other. MJF is basically in the corner, and he is content to be there hiding behind the security. But Hangman is not, and he is out there just decking people left and right. And eventually he's able to clear all these guys out. And as he's doing so, MJF uses the opportunity to put the Dynamite Diamond ring on. And then after the last of the security gets thrown out of the ring, MJF charges Hangman with the ring, but Hangman ducks it and hits Max with a Deadeye. Payson gets out of the ring, goes underneath the ring, and pulls out a barbed wire board, which he sets up next to the apron. And then he gets MJF again, and he sets him up for another Deadeye, which, ow.
All right, I'm not. So when I saw him put that board on the floor, I actually personally started to panic because I was like, there is no safe way to take this bump.
So we've seen Hangman hit Deadeyes off the apron before, but they're always through tables.
Yes, something elevated, not something flushed on the floor.
Him dropping all the way to the floor on his knees, ow, and then obviously you have MJF's angle where his head has to be protected, so you got to make sure all that momentum doesn't drive his head into the floor, and that's not to mention it's into a pile of barbed wire. So yes, it was risky, even though they didn't hit it, because MJF was able to get out of there and he escaped into the crowd, leaving behind a seething Hangman as the two stared each other down, and we went off the air.
This is how I know I'm getting old, because my first thought was, I'm glad he didn't hit this spot. I don't want these guys to die. I want them to be able to walk into their 50s.
Me too, because especially I would imagine they might both be wrestling in their 50s, considering how dudes are looking today. So
I think MJF is going to go to Hollywood.
He'd probably pop back and forth, but yeah. Anyway, like we said, James, this was Danny's my favorite YouTuber. Oh yeah,
y'all are acting out tonight. And thank you, Chris. I'll take second place. First is the worst. Second is the best. Third is the one with the hairy treasure chest. One or the other, whichever one you prefer.
Silver medal is always good. But as I was saying, I thought that was a very strong end to a segment like we mentioned. Didn't really land, at least for us, but it was nice that they tried something.
It's different than the traditional contract signing segment. You know, like I arguably think the traditional contract signing segment would have worked better in this instance.
It is a bit played out, though.
It is, but at the same time, like I said before, I appreciate that they tried something different. I appreciate that they tried to give us something more unique. Whether or not it landed, you know, for some people maybe it did. It didn't land for us. It didn't land for us, but again, they tried. So maybe we don't do it again, but it's something that's going to be different and memorable when we talk about this feud.
Yeah, maybe it needs a tweak or two. Maybe you could try to do it on the stage so the crowd's a little more there. I understand that could be a little difficult depending on where you are and stuff. But I give them a lot of credit for giving it a shot.
Absolutely.
All right, let's hit a whole lot of comments here.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Where did we go? I know. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, we have to start with taking a shot at my Jets, saying they're going to draft Penelope Ford in the draft this year. Would not surprise me.
It'd be better than what they're looking at right now.
At number 2 overall, no quarterback. Hi Geno Smith again. Chris still thinks the Sisters of Sin are going to beat the Babes of Wrath for the AEW Women's Tag Team titles, which is why he thinks Willow is going to lose to CBS.
The only reason I don't see that happening right now is I would be really surprised if the entire trio is carrying gold.
It'd be cool.
It would be cool. But I don't think they're going to do that.
Not at the moment.
Yeah. Like we just saw that with Willow, Stat, and Harley. I don't think they're going to do it again in a much more solidified group.
Yeah, and Willow, that was Harley was 4 titles technically, 4 belts and 3 titles, so them doing it immediately after and sequestering all of the titles into one group again, I could see why they would want to avoid that.
Yeah.
Charles asking, would Mercedes come back to help Bane and Cross?
I don't think so. If she were to do it, it wouldn't be about helping them. It would be about hurting Willow.
Yeah, screw Willow and Harley.
But I don't think there's any reason for her to do it.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to come back just yet either. Obviously, she'll be back by Revolution, but
it'd be thundering out there.
Oh, you got that storm? I had one earlier. I was a little nervous if I was going to be able to get on.
Me too. It happened while I was in the shower, and I was like, "Oh Jesus, is the house coming down?"
I just got it. There
you just got it.
Must be closer to you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maria, also a big fan of Denise. She is great at what she does.
Yeah.
Chris then asking, who beat Bane and Lena Cross if they win the titles this Sunday at Revolution?
I mean,
Brawling Birds.
Yeah, the Birds would probably be the best suited.
Yeah, at the moment, it's tough. Like, I feel like a lot of the times with this women's division, the tag division can be very mercurial, just depending on who's around, who like they're putting together as a team, who's going for the single stuff. So that answer could change within the next 3 weeks if they have a new face tag team.
Absolutely. I also think, while I don't necessarily think they'll be the ones to win the titles back from Bane and Cross, I do think we will see at some point in time Stat and Willow as tag champs. And they feel like a team that could do it. I just wouldn't have them win it back from Cross and Bane.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think the Birds are the choice.
At the moment.
Yeah,
again, I think plans change.
Certainly not the inspiration.
So yeah, what's saying, let's not talk about the 2 beers that were wasted. I agree. Hopefully they weren't beer and it was just like seltzer or something. Maria's saying, I got deep down, she thinks AEW wants 3 hours. I don't know. I would love 3 hours of AEW just because I enjoy the product. But even when I thought Raw was at its like best, 3 hours was a slog.
There is weirdly a huge difference from a 2-hour show that extends sometimes to like 2 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours and a half hour.
Yeah, which it rarely does. It's almost always like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I'd rather see them be granted extra time than be forced to stick with a long time that they have to film. And I know I don't watch Collision the way I should. I will absolutely be watching this week because of the Bang Bang Gang. But I know I don't watch Collision the way I should. But they do have 2 shows that Collision's only an hour, right? Or it's
2.
It is 2 hours. They have 5 hours. They have 4 hours. I'm sorry. 4.5 hours of TV every week, depending on how long Dynamite goes. So I don't think they need that 3rd hour. And if they want it or not, I'm not sure. But I think this is the way to go. Like, I loved back in the day when Raw was supposed to always end at like 11, but it would go to like 11:10 because it's like, oh my God, this is insane. It's going long.
Yeah.
It adds to the excitement. But
that you used to get, on the other side, Nitro, Tony Schiavone, we have to go off the air. Like, we'll let you know what happens next week.
And it's just a very different energy. Huge difference in energy.
Yeah. And I will also say, too, do I think AEW has the roster and the talents to go 3 hours on Wednesday? Absolutely. But you're booking completely differently, I think, for a 3-hour show. Yeah. Crowds, they react differently at a 3-hour show. You can even tell, like, when you hit hour 1.5, they're already kind of tired, and then you hit the main event, and they're able to come back. That's why you have the cool down match, or AKA time slot of death there, right before the main event. So I think if you added a 3rd hour, it'd be pretty rough. Not to mention the fact that you always have a couple of matches before the taping of Dynamite for the crowd there. Those usually start at like 7:30-ish, depending on what they're doing. Although I don't want to say those will go away because of the new residency for Ring of Honor, but they're going to change. I don't think it'll go away. They're definitely going to change what they're doing.
I think you're far more likely to actually just get dark matches now that Ring of Honor is going to be taped in Jacksonville. And I think that's for the best. I think it's a great way of getting a crowd hyped. Like, I'm actually surprised they're getting rid of. I know we're having 0 hour, but they're getting rid of the tailgate for AEW for the pay-per-views.
They're the same thing. Like, tailgate 0 hour. It's just a pre-show. It just depends, I think, whether or not it's on TBS or not. And they usually, when they do a tailgate, TBS usually has a pretty big game following that, and they use that as the lead-in.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then obviously you have stuff after Dynamite for that crowd. Sometimes they tape Collision, not always. For some of the bigger shows they do, and otherwise sometimes they tape Ring of Honor stuff after. So it's a lot for a crowd in general, and then they're already taping 3 hours of TV most of the time anyway. Yeah. So I think adding another hour to that, it would just be far.
You're burning out your crowd.
Yeah, I think you're burning out your crowd. I think you're burning out your crew as well.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Danny's,
a lot of slander, a lot of hurtful words.
Yeah, he was sad Danny was never allowed to speak and had to leave. Maria said MJF was the best part of Happy Gilmore too. The rest of it was trash.
I like Bad Bunny.
Yeah, he was funny. There was some funny stuff, but it was not good.
Inferior to the first, but had its moments.
Yeah, obviously inferior. Let's see. Let's start contract signings for matches online. Let's see. Mercedes all saying, Maria is saying Mercedes doesn't need to help anyone. They help her. Good point. Let's see. Charles, too bad they experimented at this point of the status of the company, but AEW nailed it at the end, as always, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think OG AEW back in the beginning, they experimented with a lot of different stuff. It was a lot of let's throw it at the wall and see what sticks type of stuff. But now they're established. They weirdly tend to go safer. And I do kind of miss this about AEW because, yeah, this one didn't hit, but maybe the next one hits and you get like a whole new thing that AEW does, like in Anarchy in the Arena, because Stadium Stampede hit, and I understand part of that was a COVID thing, but it's also part of them just screwing around.
The gauntlet match, the casino gauntlet match is one of the best things that they've ever done, and that came late in the game from experimenting.
Yeah, so this one didn't work, fine, but I'm sure stuff will work down the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris saying, I can see the Sisters beating the Brawling Birds for the Women's World Tag.
I can see that too. I can see that too. Babyface heel, yeah.
Yep. Charles also pointing out AEW pay-per-views are very long, so adding another hour of TV would probably be a lot. That's a good point.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Matt? Matt hopping in here saying, as bad as WWE 2000s where the special 3-hour Raws every once in a while were great, AEW could try something like that. And that's a good point. Back when Raw was 2 hours, every once in a while they would do a 3-hour Raw before they started doing the Super Show.
And it would feel special.
Yeah. And every once in a while we do get like a 2.5 hour Dynamite. I think we had one a couple of weeks ago.
Or more often than not, when collisions get preempted on Saturdays, sometimes they will make 3-hour blocks where it'll be Dynamite and Collision back to back. Then we don't get on till like 11:30. I'm not a big fan of it, not because of the time, but because when they do it, AEW treats Collision like a separate show in that instance, and it feels like all the momentum gets just dropped. They do this thing wherever the main event segment becomes like the opening segment of Collision, but then there is no overflow other than that. Like there is no connective tissue, and it always just feels really, really weird.
Yeah, sometimes it depends. Like I think they gotten better at that in the last few, but those first ones, like they would log off, sign off for Dynamite, and Collision would come on, and it just felt weird.
It's one of those things. The main event of the night will be the main event of Dynamite, and then everything that happens on Collision afterwards always just feels like, why are we still here? Yeah.
Yeah, like because even the main event of Collision is not nearly as hyped as the main event of Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt also hates AEW's dark matches. I just miss AEW Dark, period.
I miss AEW Dark too.
AEW Dark Jones over here. It's saying if you had a 3-hour show, you could do 2 women's matches, although they'd be mostly picture and picture. Fair. Okay, let's see. I'm going to just go to Christopher here before I get to Maria's question. Mercedes has double title matches on March 7th for 2 of her titles. Very interesting.
Damn, 2 L's in one night. It's going to be nuts.
That crash out is so real.
Yep.
All right. And Maria asking, there are reports out there that LA Knight is very frustrated with his creative in AEW. If he requested and was granted release, would he be a good fit he's frustrated with WWE. Would he be a good fit for AEW? I will quickly take this, and I would say probably not, just because he's a decent ring worker, but AEW, I think it would be slightly above him in that regard. He's a great talent, and I love him on the mic, and he definitely needs to get more stuff in WWE, James.
Yes.
But I think he would have a tough time keeping up here in AEW.
He is someone who is tailor-made for WWE, but WWE doesn't want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, because they didn't make him, probably.
Yeah, that's 100% it. It feels like Triple H doesn't get him and is just putting him on TV because he has to, not because he wants to.
Yeah, despite the fact he's over as hell and sells merch.
Yeah, like I'm going to push back a little bit, and you're not wrong. I do think the talent in AEW would outwork him. I do think he is a better worker than people give him credit for. I think he's got some very fun spots. I think he's got some very fun bits in his matches. The problem is, one, he is very botch prone. Like, he messes up some of his spots a lot. And if I
saw that at the Chamber.
Yeah, we did. And I said it when covering the Chamber. If I'm going to rip on Jey Uso for messing up, I got to do the same. I got to have that same energy for Knight. And I like both guys, but it's just true. I'm going to say, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. His best bet to be a world champion would to be going back to TNA. Eli Drake was a big deal in TNA. He's a former world champion. Eli Drake is LA Knight before LA Knight. Winning the world title in TNA was definitely his biggest achievement in terms of accolades. Like, just being a WrestleMania wrestler is a bigger deal, obviously. But he reached higher heights in TNA. I think if he were to go back to TNA, they would treat him like a main eventer. Would not be shocked if he did win the world title again. I don't think he's got a higher ceiling in AEW than he currently does in WWE.
I would agree, because I think his ceiling in WWE should be the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. But Trips just does not seem to want to do that with him. So I don't know. It's annoying because I'm a big fan, because he should be a champion. He has the shoes for it, but they just refuse to do it. And I don't know why they won't pull the trigger. I know he had the U.S. title for a little while there. And even
that felt late. By the time it happened, it was like, why?
Yeah, that felt late, and it felt flat, I thought, just because, probably because it was late. So
yeah,
hopefully he can accomplish more in WWE. But
I heard the same report that Maria, I think, is referencing. Apparently he was very unhappy on SmackDown, which is why he got moved to Raw. But nothing is different on Raw for him. Like, he's still in the same spot. And now the irony is they did just get rid of Road Dogg on on SmackDown.
Word is they were phasing him out anyway. So
yeah.
Charles suggested maybe if LA Knight went to Ring of Honor, maybe throw him with MXM and Johnny TV.
I would love that reunion with him and MXM. I think especially where they're going to be less scripted, that I think they could do some just unhinged shit.
Yeah.
And look, let's also acknowledge.
Yeah. Sorry.
There are guys in AEW who aren't the best workers, but are great characters too. And we know MJF is a great wrestler, but at the end of the day, we're not going to talk about MJF the wrestler as much as we're going to talk about MJF the promo. And that speaks to how good his promo work is when you see how good he is as a wrestler. But I do think Knight could and should be successful wherever he goes. I just think he's going to be fighting a much, much heavier battle in AEW than he should in WWE.
Yeah, I would agree with that a lot. Matt also backed us up here. The U.S. title was legit 1 year too late. He should have gotten Jay's Rumble win, and that's something he has talked about ad nausea. So,
yeah,
that's not with LA Knight. And that was Dynamite.
Dynamite.
This was I don't want to call it a weird show, James, but it didn't really feel. It almost felt a little disjointed, if that makes a lot of sense. Maybe just because it was match, really big, long promo at the end.
Yeah.
Or promo segment. But the wrestling tonight was, I thought, great. We had two absolute banger matches for the TNT and the 6-man, along with a very, very good match for the TBS title. And then, the Death Riders and Don was good. The other tag was really good. So just great night of in-ring stuff. And then it just kind of fell a little flat at the end there, which is a little disappointing heading into Revolution.
No, I agree. I think ultimately the issue is, if this episode didn't happen, would the lead up to Revolution be that much different? And I don't think it would. I think realistically, the only thing that was added to this, added to the show from tonight, was the Swerve Brody thing, where now Brody has an excuse when he loses. Otherwise, if this episode of Dynamite didn't happen, I don't think the pay-per-view is in any way different than if last week was the last episode, the go-home show.
I would also throw in, you don't have those women's matches with Willow just because she hadn't laid out those challenges yet.
Yeah,
but
all right,
sure
Willow
you can work that out on Collision.
Yeah. So ultimately, I don't really know where a lot of this is going. Like, I don't think the dogs have a match at the pay-per-view.
Not at the moment. Wouldn't surprise me if something came up with Orange and Darby. Oh, no, they do. My bad. They
Is official now?
Yeah, they made Orange, Darby, and Roddy against the dogs.
Okay.
On
The dogs.
Yeah, I'm gonna always say it like it's Georgia.
I enjoyed tonight. The wrestling was the standout, which, yay, great wrestling. But ultimately, just kind of a weird episode. Like, I don't think there was any, other than Fletcher and Speedball just being an incredible match. I don't think there was anything that was super stand out about the night.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because I feel like, well, a lot of times, as we mentioned, these episodes right before the pay-per-view don't stand out a lot, but I feel like it's more because Tony usually keeps a lot of the people who are wrestling on the pay-per-view off the show or keeps them out of the ring.
Yeah.
And tonight we got a lot of guys who are wrestling on that pay-per-view in the ring, and therefore we weren't getting a lot of, let's say, told story through promos from a lot of these people, as opposed to most go-home episodes of Dynamite that we're used to. So change of pace. I kind of liked it, maybe just because this was a little more exciting to me than our usual. Oh, great, we got another promo from this guy who's going to be wrestling on Sunday, but I'm not seeing tonight. Oh, another one from this girl.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people wrestling tonight, and that was a lot of fun.
So the more we're talking about it, I don't want to drag this out. I apologize, but the more we're talking about it, I think I realized the fundamental difference from what I loved about last week's show and what I felt was missing from this week's show. Last week's show had a storyline that carried throughout the night. There was no overarching story of the night tonight.
Yeah,
arguably the Callis family, but that ended early.
Yeah, that was all within like the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe that goes to what I said about it being slightly disjointed tonight.
Yeah. Because Charles wrote here, the Fletcher and MJF interaction was interesting. It was. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. And it's planting the seeds for something that could be really fun down the road. But the perfect word that you keep using is disjointed. It didn't serve a greater story for the night.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is just in terms of the Callis family stuff. I understand why they put it 1-2, more or less, because you wanted that juxtaposition of what Takeshita did versus what Fletcher did. But like you said, because they were all right there, anything that flowed together was all within that first 45 minutes. And then everything else was great on its own, but it made for a bit of a weird episode.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
All right. So we're excited for Sunday.
Yeah.
And on that note, I would like to thank everyone for watching us here at the Mark It Down Podcast. We'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribe. If you like the video, it lets us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here on the show, and we will continue to do it. I was getting to that. We will indeed be having a Revolution post show. So
Sunday.
be sure on Sunday. Yes, Revolution is Sunday night. Remember that, guys. Football is now over, so Tony can move pay-per-views to Sunday. I wish he would move them up a little bit in time, so we weren't on until 1 o'clock in the morning on a school night. But it is what it is. Be sure to subscribe for Revolution on Sunday. We will also be obviously back next week for Dynamite. You got the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow, I presume, and most Thursdays with James for you TNA fans. So be sure to subscribe for that. Matt covers Raw when big things happen, so you want to check that out as well. James helps him sometimes too.
I do my best.
Yep. If you want to follow us over on any of our social media stuff, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, or Blue Sky, you watch us here on YouTube, you can check out those links in the description below. Otherwise, if you're watching us over on Twitter or Facebook, Twitter is at @marketdown_pod. Instagram is at @marketdownpod. YouTube.com/@marketdownpod. I remember this time, or /marketdown3665. Blue Sky is marketdownpod.bsky.social, or just search Marketdown Podcast on any of your favorite social media sites, and we should be on there. And if we're not on there, I don't know, let us know. Maybe one of us will get bored and make an account and then not give the other ones the password.
Who would do that?
That'd be me.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us in the comments. We appreciate it. You guys led to a lot of good stuff today. Charles, thank you. We appreciate your subscription.
Welcome. We say it all the time. We love when you guys interact with us. It makes it so much more fun to talk about these shows. We have our regulars like Maria, you know it,
Fernando,
everybody. Charles, we hope to see you at the next one. Yeah, Chris Leclerc. So Charles, keep on partying with us. We have fun here.
Yep. Thank you. And thank you. You know what? We appreciate you guys as always. So for James Sasanti, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Mark It Down Podcast. Happy St. Patrick's Weekend, part 1, everyone.